Brandon London is a Super Bowl winning receiver with the Giants, but also 4 seasons with the Montreal Alouettes. He's with Giants TV. Joins us today. No stranger to the program. Brandon, hey, welcome back to the man. Great to see you. I hope you got a few minutes with us today because I got some other things I want to get to besides the Barkley deal. But how much does this mean? How much of a relief is this heading into Giants training camp?
Oh, it's a huge relief when you're thinking about it. Saquon Barkley is the Giants' offense. I know Daniel Jones was the one who got the bag this offseason in terms of getting the money. But if you look at the numbers last year, Saquon over 1,300 yards rushing, I believe 10 or 11 touchdowns, 57 receptions. He was the guy that defenses prepared to try and take away and stop. So when you're talking about, okay, they finally got it done, the player side of me doesn't like the deal from the player standpoint, but I get it from the media and business side of things. But at the end of the day, going into the second year of Brian Dable's offense, they want this man to eat. He wants to eat, and hopefully he stays healthy so he can hit those incentives.
Okay, Brandon, take us into that then, please. And morph it, if you will, into the wider discussion of why these running backs across the National Football League feel disrespected. Clearly you do, too, on behalf of Saquon. So can you talk about why you think it could have been a better deal for him?
Yeah, I'm going to remove my emotions from it. Obviously, you know, the time that I've spent with Giants TV, I've been around Saquon since his rookie year. I'm around the players a lot. So you build some sort of repertoire with them or rapport with them. And then, you know, being the former player that I am myself, you always feel as though you want the players to get the best end of the deal. I also believe that he and his representation kind of gambled a little bit when they were reportedly offered that 14-5 during the bye week last season. I think that he thought, or his representation thought, they wanted him to hold out a little bit more because, again, everyone knows that he is the production leader when it comes to the Giants. He was the Giants offense. So they probably felt like he could get a little bit more. It didn't happen that way. You got some things that got leaked into the media that he voiced his frustrations on because the mantra or the theme in that building, Quest Diagnostics Training Center, is family business is family business. Whatever's going on in-house should never get leaked. So you can see how the emotions would get involved when it comes to both the business side, the GM front office side, and the player side. See how emotions would be involved with this. But at the end of the day, this guy just took a deal to bet on himself. Again, he's a football player, and he's out to win with his brothers.
Well, that's the thing. And Brandon, you're a smart guy, and that's part of what I want to get into after the football discussion here. But Giants, Dolphins, Steelers on your resume, and Alouettes. I'm sure you've been through sticky contract negotiations as a player. How do you get over it? If we can put aside the $11 million a year, because you know the average American's saying, the citizen is like, I can't live on that. It's not about that. So if we put that aside, how do you get past the chip on your shoulder and go play every day when you feel that you took a value to help the team?
Well, my caliber of contracts negotiated compared to Saquon's was something completely night and day. Like my teams would just tell me you're cut, not negotiated. But yeah, no, it kind of brings me back to 1 year with the Alouettes when I believe that was the year Deron Carter had kind of come on to the scene, and you know the Alouettes, Jim Pop, and those guys kind of asked me to take a pay cut. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no way was I going to take a pay cut because I had done a reasonable body of work and as a receiver and a special teamer to be able to make that money. So as a player, you kind of have to remove yourself from the situation and kind of look at the numbers. I'm like, this young kid, Deron Carter, is making plays. I understand that I'm not getting the ball as much, but let me find a way, because at the end of the day, my beef is not between S.J. Green or Jamel Richardson or Anthony Calvillo. My beef is or the players' beef is with the front office, you know, in that sense. So I'm going to remove my emotions from it. Like Mark Trestman used to always tell his players, don't tell yourself a story. Don't tell yourself a story, because when you tell yourself a story, you don't prepare the way you're supposed to prepare. So you just put yourself in the position to where you're like, you know what? It's me and my brothers. Everyone in this locker room is who I'm going to play for. And I'm going to play lights out. And then I'm going to stick it to the front office by producing to make them pay what they're supposed to pay me. And then on top of that, you want to get more. There's no beef with Jim Pop either way to clear that up. There's just a mindset that I had at that time.
Hey, trust me, I get it. And Belo, that was cracking the vault on the stories I wanted to get to right there. And DC, he's my boy now. I remember when he came into the league. I love him. I love him so much. But you played with Luke Mullender, who's also my boy, the current Rider radio color guy. And he thinks the world rises and sets on you. He's always below this, below that. And he told me about you going, was it to the ESPN boot camp? This is where we're going to take it, folks, outside of football and into broadcasting. Can you talk about your training to be a broadcaster coming out of being a player?
Yeah, man. It was that 2012 season when I was averaging like 19.9 yards per catch. I was doing the wavy walk. We were going to war with Winnipeg and Hef and Johnny Sears Jr. and all that year. And, that was a year that I was playing to go down to the NFL with Trestman. I knew he was leaving within a year or two, but I ended up getting injured and being out that year. So I started taking classes, theater classes with the Montreal School of Performing Arts instead of going out to practice, because I would just rehab in the mornings and then I'd be in class all day. And that's where I kind of knew it was on that field against Toronto when I couldn't get up off the ground. I knew that my football world was going to change. I was going to start to migrate and start to put my energy into the TV business. So I started going out to LA, getting on-camera training out there, doing my off seasons. Created my own web series called Jersey Off, Suit On when I was back in Montreal. And I'd take the camera. My camera guy at the time was Darren Diedrich. Rest in peace. One of my best friends, my roommate, my camera guy. He helped me create that web series. And I would film what I call the cultured athlete lifestyle, because I modeled, I did I went on auditions for like little TV things here and there in Montreal. And I wanted to show, an athlete's journey transitioning from football into the TV aspect of it. And Luke, my guy, was one of those guys, whether, when he moved on and played for another team, he'd always come up to me and tell me, man, I see what you're doing. I saw your latest episode, man, keep going. And then when I moved out to LA full time and I retired from football to be out in LA, I was part of this thing called AfterBuzz TV, where it was basically what Arlen Bruce used to call reps and touches. It's all about reps and touches, and our Aftermath would get me those reps and touches. And Luke was a guest at a CFL show that I had down there in LA, and Luke was a guest on there, and he would co-host it with me a bunch of times. So it's just one of those things, man. I always thank the CFL. I know that people will say, "Oh, The Rock played in the CFL. The Rock played," but I believe that CFL gave me more to my career after football than it did for The Rock. Because I actually got to play up there, and I've got some glory days and some moments up there. But it also got me ready to transition for life after football and all as well. So it's one of those things. Any player that's out there, reach out to me if you're kind of thinking of how to get into entertainment, television, that side of things. But at the end of the day, do what Michael Strahan told me my rookie year. Always take care of football first.
So I'm glad you're sitting down and hold on to your hat. But Arlen Bruce III is watching right now. And he writes in. And he says, I want to say what's up to Brandon London, number 14, a.k.a. 2 weeks, my former teammate.
2 weeks.
Bless up, B. London, 2 weeks. What's up with that? What's the story there? Other than you were just teammates for 2 weeks? He had that big of him? Yeah, go ahead.
I was number 14, so 2 weeks is 14 days. And then we used to freestyle all the time. We used to rap freestyle all the time, when guys are kind of killing time in the CFL and hanging out. But I'll tell you one thing, it was an honor to play with that dude. When I stepped in day one, I knew for a fact I wanted to play with Arlen Bruce. And I also wanted to play with Ricky Ray as well, but I never got a chance to. But when Arlen Bruce came over from BC and he signed with the Alouettes, man, like consummate pro. The dude showed the young guys the way. He would always show up in big moments, big time plays. So appreciate you, Brucey.
He's an icon, and he's with us every day. I love him too. But did you not go to some sort of like boot camp or something for broadcasting? That's what Luke told me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the NFL broadcast and boot camp, man. They almost didn't even let me in because you needed like 3 accredited seasons in the NFL. And I was like, look, man, I got one, a practice squad year, and a ring. That's 3 right there. Let me in. So I had to like write. I kept having to write, and I was bothering whoever it was on that email. I kept bothering him, like, look, I've already done this national show. I've kind of already shot my own website. I was like, and then I basically ended it saying, I'm going to get in and be a success on TV with or without you guys. So you should use my journey and my story and allow me into the broadcast boot camp. So that's when I went down there. And, you know, I got so many great connections when it came to that. And again, reps and touches. You got to be on set with guys like James Brown. You got to be on set with some of the NFL Network cast and talent. And you just got to see how it's run. You know, there's one thing when you're playing football, you're in meeting rooms, you're looking at the playbook, you see the plays, and you know you're drawing up certain things. Then you look on the board, you see it ran as a video, and then you go out there, you go through a jog through, but you really don't learn until you actually get out there and you get some game speed, full speed reps. That's where you learn, okay, I should break this route off at 12 instead of 15 because of XYZ. It's the same thing when it comes to television production and doing the right things and finding your own voice and sound when it comes to television and broadcasting. So NFL Broadcast Boot Camp was great for me, but, you know, I had to really my mom always says the squeaky wheel always gets fixed. So this squeaky wheel got into the broadcast boot camp by email harassing whoever that was.
Yeah, and don't be shy, man. The opportunities we passed up of just being shy. Okay, B. London, we're watching. We appreciate the time today. I'm glad you answered all that because that's what I wanted to talk about. And good luck, Giants, man. You have a great season. Keep in touch.
Okay, real quick. Next time you do one of those shows out in Aruba or Bahamas or wherever you were at, Rod, I need to be your in-studio guest. I got PTO days.
How about
that? We got it. I'd love to have you. Oh, we could do that. We'll make it happen. We'll write it down. Thanks, Bilo.
There we go. Thank you, guys.
Brandon London joining us from Giants TV, Super Bowl champion, CFL alum, and he's watching. He's watching.